me, it's like it's not even about the specifics of cost and value and all those other things because I think those are so broad and personal that it's really more about, I guess Davin's main point is that, he's looking at it from this perspective of we would like to grow the sport, and I think we all would. And in that case, it's best that, we kind of take the approach that there's all kinds of different karting and all kinds of different ways to participate. I don't want to eat pizza all the time. Sometimes I want tacos. Actually, no, it's the opposite. I want tacos all the time, and then once in a while it's pizza. Sometimes I'll even want to have a pizza in the taco, right?
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, the point is like that's what I love about karting is its diversity, right?
yeah,
Whether it's dirt or pavement or pro tour or no tour or all these different things, and then the overlap between them. That's what makes it really interesting to me. Um, and so I think it's important that when we're talking with people that we, meaning people that are interested in karting, again, that we listen to what they want to do. And it may just be that they want to not race and they just want to drive the tires off a cart during the week or, whatever.
yeah.
Um, but I think it's important to kind of keep in mind, whether are they likely to be able to afford this, and are they going to have a good experience, right? That's really it. I mean, we're kind of putting on a salesy marketing hat here, but I think it's important that if we want the sport to grow, those of us that have the wherewithal and the capacity to do so need to think more long term. I think it's harder when you're a business in karting because, most
There's just a
are.
lot
It's
less
difficult.
people.
Yeah, and it's difficult. Like that's why I don't have a karting business, frankly. You know, I don't. I love the sport, but I would not want to have a business in the sport right now. I have my media project, I have Car Pulse, but beyond that, I have a lot of empathy for guys and a lot of respect for guys and women, if you want to call women out separately, that have made a commitment to set up their own karting business and buy inventory and stuff. I mean, that's ballsy.
Yeah, another way
Um,
of looking at the meme here is just stop selling shit too cheap. Um, what? Don't even specify that it's a cart, or don't specify it's a used cart. Just shit too cheap. And I find a lot of times when you deal with salespeople, if their first go to offer value to the to the person purchasing is to drop their price, then what value do they really bring besides price?
yeah.
They're probably not providing a service. They're probably not providing any sort of knowledge beyond just trying to get you to buy that stuff from them at that moment. And that's kind of a different way to look at it now that I'm, toggling back and forth. But yeah, stop selling stuff too cheap. It just because as I'm reading through the conversations that are on the thread, it's like, wait a second. Yeah, there is definitely in a lot of different aspects the race to the bottom, and then it's probably that um, Amazon or eBay mentality where
Right.
people are not going to look at outside of the price. They don't. There's that is the value is price,
Hmm.
and how much does that cost? I don't care about anything else except for how much does it cost. And then they get the part. Tires are a perfect example. I don't know how many times I've heard this where someone buys tires online from the cheapest guy possible. Then they call the local shop to mount the tires and get pissed off at the local shop because they want to charge them to mount the tires. Say, wait, you're wasting my time because you didn't buy the tires from me. You want me to mount them, and then you get mad because I want to charge you for my time.
Yeah.
Um, that's probably the number one best example.
Yeah, and I think that's. I'm not sure if Davin was kind of necessarily going for that angle, but that's the angle that I saw when I saw his meme come up. Is that gonna sound harsh, but those are probably not the kind of people that we want to attract to the sport. Um, because we can't we can't sustain the sport with that. You know. Um.
Well, I
So
think we need. There's always going to be those type of people around, and
yeah,
I
it's
mean, I'm
true.
a price shopper. I mean, when I'm looking to spend money, first thing I do is look at price. Um, but at the same time, outside of karting, there is a support structure for example, my water heater went out a couple weeks ago, and whether it was a utility company, whether it was the local plumbing warehouse, whether it was a manufacturer's website, there was plentiful of information for me to overwhelm myself with choosing a water heater.
Mm-hmm.
And karting is the exact opposite. There's not a lot of direct information available from the importers or the manufacturers. You got to jump through hoops for it. And then if you're buying a used cart off Craigslist or Marketplace or whatever, OfferUp, and then you happen to call a shop that sells that particular brand, but you didn't buy it from them. You bought it from Joe Blow that said, I only put 2 hours on it, and it's the fastest thing ever. I broke every track record, but it only has 2 hours on it. You call the local shop for help, and then they're just like, hey, probably they feel like they get pushed off or blown away or whatever the right word is. Blown off. Is that the right word? Because the shops are just busy enough trying to keep the doors open without having to offer technical advice on a cart that they made 0 pennies on.
Yeah. I think that's also kind of the expectation we always try to manage on the forums too, is, we direct people to where it makes sense to their local businesses, but at the same time also say, I think you can reasonably expect to pay for the time. I think that should be okay.
Yeah.
And at least go in as a customer with that expectation. And then it's up to the business to decide, if they want to offer some time or advice for free, if you want to call it a lead gen, to attract future business, or they may be, I'm going to spend an hour on the phone with you, I'm going to have to charge you for it. And I think ideally we want to work towards attracting customers for the sport that understand and recognize that value. And I think there's more and more people moving to that kind of mindset these days too, because time has become increasingly valuable in people's minds, because they're so busy doing 50 different things, and they're bombarded with social media and all these other messages. They're overwhelmed, right? So anytime that they have an opportunity to exchange some money for time, they're like, yeah, I think I'd like to do that. At least that's how I operate now. And I realize not everybody's at that stage yet. And again, that comes back to my point earlier about, we got to match folks up with the right kind of karting that's going to work for them at that time, that they're going to have the best experience with. So it's not clear cut.
No, I mean, this could be like a full day long podcast. If it was properly outlined, it probably would be.
Day-long podcast. I'm here. A day-long podcast. Yikes.
Yeah, that'd be tough. I mean, I could talk all day. That's actually easy for me. Staying focused on a topic, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, I saw Davin's post, too. I was like, ooh, this is going to get good.
Yeah.
And I think I can argue a number of different sides from it, from many different perspectives. Because on the side, I buy and sell used go-kart equipment. My day job is in the industry. That's my full-time job, and it's like, okay. So I'm on the opposite I'm on the opposite side as far as I don't want to see people driving prices to the bottom. And then I'm also a racer, so I get it. It's like, yeah, I want the best bang for my buck, so I can get on the track, because if I can save a couple $100 here, that means that's a couple $100 more I'm going to spend down the road on something else, whether it's tires or coaching or an engine freshen up a little bit sooner. There's so many different angles to that post.
Yeah, you could go a lot of ways with it, but it's true. There's a lot of different options. It's easy to get, kind of into the weeds with them, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of hope that folks that have been around the sport for a while can help guide other people towards something that's going to work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is going on in Northern California?
There's actually a lot of good stuff going on in NorCal. Yeah.
I'm a little jealous, actually, because it's 10 degrees up here in Minnesota today.
Yeah.
When you're talking about races happening, I'm like, I don't understand how
I think we're right around 60 right
out.
now.
Yeah. That's like shorts weather.
Well, I mean, we can set you up with an arrive and drive program where you just fly in with your helmet and driving suit.
Hmm.
You can go shifter racing, you can go Briggs racing. You let me know. But yeah, it's 57 degrees right now at 8:45 Pacific Standard Time, PM. But no, there's a lot of good stuff going on right now. Again, I'm gonna just wear out the Track Magic group because it's inspiring. It just kind of fires me up. So that's pretty cool going on. A number of the tracks have already gotten their schedules out. So I just uploaded the Prairie City schedule to NorCal Carters tonight, and I uploaded the KPX one. So they already have their schedules out for 2020. The Blue Max Kart Club, I need to double check. I think it's December 13th. They have their awards banquet. Last year, they gave out a lot of stuff. I mean, they must have had 10 to 15 6-foot tables just filled with raffle prizes.
Nice.
I mean, they were raffling stuff off for a couple hours. I mean, it's pretty impressive for just the small club racer. They had a lot of stuff there, and then the food was pretty good, so that was nice. And they did a really nice job. So that's happening in December. I don't think I have it on the calendar yet. I need to double check. But no, there's just I think it's some exciting stuff going on. Definitely some exciting stuff. So next year, NorCal Carters, we're going to actually host our own, a couple of, there's that swap meet coming up on the 23rd. I'm not hosting that one, but next year I'll be hosting a couple of them. And then looking at just other events that are just non-racing type events.
Right.
To basically allow people to bring friends and family and people to the track just to come check out karting. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And one thing I'm toying around with is just almost targeting the non-racer, targeting the guy that just wants to learn basic mechanics, and using the kart to do so. So that's one of the projects I kind of have on my whiteboard. So I think 2020 is going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
How about Kart Pulse? I'll give you the last minute and a half to plug Kart Pulse and wrap it up.
Wow, it's really hard to say what's going to happen in 2020 because there's a lot of different things in the works, but it's hard to know which one's kind of going to win out above all the others. So we will see what comes of that, but definitely I would like to move towards going back to creating more original content again, which we haven't been able to do recently because both myself and Davin have just been slammed with work. The forums are going great. They continue to thrive. More and more people are coming, getting answers, helping each other out, not being assholes. These are all good things. I mean, I say that flippantly, but it actually, it's nice to be able to actually have a decent discussion with somebody without it turning into a complete shit show, and like a pissing contest. So there's that. Ideally what we'd like to do is launch a new website and launch an app to go with it. And a lot of that is in the works. Just need to speak with folks and figure out who's going to join us along that journey to launch it. So we actually have a new website almost ready that we're going to continue to update, but it won't be launched until we find somebody to launch it with. So
got it.
Hopefully that will happen sometime in 2020. And again, we will have we'll go back to creating original content again. There's just so many topics that could be covered that would be interesting, whether it's technical or you want to call them interest stories, things like that. I'd like to definitely bring back that angle that we were able to begin with at first. I've just not necessarily talking about a handful of races, but or
15
results.
15 seconds, sir.
15 seconds. Well, what can you say in 15 seconds?
Well, there's 3.
Karting's better than everything else.
Most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Right, that's true. I mean,
do have an ex-roommate that actually tried karting naked.
I was going to say, I think I've done that, and it's just as uncomfortable as it sounds.
Yeah.
I would not recommend it.
All right, I'm cutting you off. Thanks,
All right.
James.